I get a lot of questions asked from clients about hallucination. I'm like, even human beings hallucinate.
Welcome to Tech Bytes with Ash, where we discuss trends in digital technology that support true business outcomes. I'm Ashu Bhatia, a consultant, an author, and a practitioner of all practical insights on your technology investments.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to my channel, Tech Bytes with Ash. Today, I want to cover a little bit around the future of work. I get a lot of questions from the audience around what exactly are the jobs of the future? How do you get prepared for a role in data science and AI? And what do you need to do to keep your jobs very relevant? So I want to start with something that clarifies jobs versus skills. Depending on the technology, depending on the capabilities companies are building, the jobs and their roles and the definitions will change. But what will really endure and remain is skills. And I want to talk about skills today, really.
Thank you so much for being on my podcast. I really appreciate you guys' time. So thank you for taking the time and really deep diving into the hottest topic out there these days, AI and data science. Before we even get going, I really want the audience to get to know you guys, and then we can really kind of jump into your point of views. But maybe we start with some quick introductions. So Ashish Shruti, with Dexin so long, why don't you start and talk to us a little bit about your academic background and how you got going in this data science field?
Right. Thank you, Ashu. So I did my bachelor's and master's in IIT Madras. So I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering and master's in cyber physical systems, and that's how I got started into the data science. So cyber physical systems is an interdisciplinary field which has a lot of components from data science, machine learning, and all these things.
Oh, wow.
So I started with my internships, which I did in the deep learning domain, and that's how my background, moved towards more deep learning side.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Ashish. Vivek Prajapati, again, thanks again for your time as well. So Vivek, tell us a little bit about your academic background and how did you get started in this area?
Yeah, thanks, Ashu. I did my BTech government college in Maharashtra. Not much on that part. But when I was doing my BTech, I found out that I have a lot of interest in networks and telecommunication. So I thought of pursuing masters. So I did my masters from IIT Madras. There I took all the electives that were related to networks and telecommunication. So what happened when I was doing one project, I found out that it involved some kind of an optimization strategies, and there it involved a lot of mathematics. Okay, then there I found out that I have an interest in, and where I found out data science is the one. That's where the project was heading towards. So I applied those data science few techniques over there to get the results, and I found it very interesting. So that's the point. I thought I need to work on myself to get into this AI/ML, and yeah, that's how it all started for me.
Excellent. So I'm so excited to talk to both of you. It sounds like, Ashish, you were grounded in the education itself, into getting on those things. And Vivek, it sounds like you did the engineering part, the software part. And then as you used math, as you said, to optimize your network, see how that career kind of panned out and what skills have you acquired over the time. So maybe we'll start with you, Ashish, in the beginning. Before we even get going, maybe it makes sense to even say, what does AI and ML mean? Because I'll tell you honestly, I've been doing digital work. My background is data and AI. I did a lot of cloud, but then digital transformation became such a buzzword. And every time I talk to either a CIO, a CTO, or a chief AI officer, the term digital transformation itself means so many different things. Likewise, I think data and AI is so pervasive these days, but maybe we start with a very basic definition of what you think is data, AI, ML, and GenAI. So maybe let's start with that.
Sure. So basically, I'll just mention four terms that we have, right? We have data science, we have machine learning, we have AI, and then we have Gen AI. So you can think of this as a progression. Data science is something which has been, used like for a long time for a lot of statistical methods, be it in insurance industry. People use it all the time. And then you add more computer programming, computer systems to it, you get machine learning, right? If you apply computer science to the existing statistical methods, you get machine learning. Now, machine learning is basically learning from the data and making some decisions and using some programming to do that, right? Data science is like you don't have the programming component there. Nowadays it's kind of overlapping. Next stage is the AI. So AI is like you are building some systems that can mimic kind of a human behavior, human intelligence, right? uh, that's another, you can say, a specialization of on the top of machine learning. And then you'll have the latest thing, gen AI or generative AI. So that refers to a class of AI that is generative, as in like it can generate more content. It can generate new ideas based on, again, what it has already seen, but it is more creative in that sense. So generative AI is the, yeah, talk of the town today.
That's a good evolution because, as you said, right, going from data to data science, then ML, AI, now Gen AI, it's evolving. And I know for sure, as we talk right now on this podcast, there's so much things happening from product side, from company side, that all this is evolving at the speed that is truly mind-boggling, right? Let's go to you, Vivek. What do you think is the definition of all these terms that Ashish just talked about?
Yes, so I think Ashish put it very beautifully on different aspects like data science, machine learning, and Gen AI, because nowadays people often get confused on these terms. Okay, so data science is more towards like a statistical method, as Ashish mentioned. When you are interested in doing some kind of mathematics, like probabilistic kind of analysis, then in that case, if you have that interest, you can move towards data science. Machine learning is more of a you have some data, you want to build some you want to train machines so that you can predict its behavior. You want something is, you want it to work in some behavior, some pattern. Then you can just feed that data, whatever the analysis that you have done, then you can do that. So that is machine learning. Now the AI and Gen AI is what is been buzzing around. So AI is a very vast word that we can use. In that there are multiple categories, I would say. One of them is a Gen AI. So Gen AI is more towards like a creative AI. For example, whenever we have a text, it is like text to text conversion, also text to speech conversion. Then we can have an image. Nowadays people are even creating a video out of it using a text. So these are more comes into a creative AI part. So that is like a Gen AI. So, I mean, it is all these three are different categories. If you want to go towards very a mathematical kind of approach, then the data science is what one should look for. ML is what you will build algorithms, you'll write, you'll train machines on how to react on certain number of inputs given, and then AI, Gen AI generate some creative output. Then in that case, you should go for Gen AI.
There's so much philosophy, frankly. We could go on a podcast just on this topic of saying, hey, what do machines learn? What are the patterns? You're training it with so much data. And as you alluded to, Vivek, that so text, of course, the speech, visual, as you mentioned. And I get so philosophical. I talk to some people in colleges, in the academics, as well as industry, that human beings have five senses, right? So visual, audio, I'm like, the smell and touch might be next, because at the end of the day, we have five different things. And if you can quantify, make those as inputs into the system, and then eventually some output, then that's when you're really kind of mimicking somewhere there. But we've still lots to go in that sense. But I think it's just so mind boggling that this technology is evolving. We read, I don't think we wake up one morning these days and you don't read something about AI, Gen AI somewhere. Like, even if you open the TV and the news, for people who don't have the technology background, they're talking about this. So that tells you that it's definitely reached critical mass and there's going to be so much more going. So definitely I agree with your definitions. Coming back to you, Ashish, since you mentioned, right? So all this evolution of AI and ML and all that stuff, you mentioned that you started with IIT Madras in mechanical engineering. You did some internships, did your master's. Talk to us a little bit about what skills should we acquire. What is the future of work within this environment? If this technology is going to be leveraged, what do I need to learn, right? So, Ashish, I would be curious from your journey, how did you get going from that background into more like banking and insurance and using some of these?
The first thing I would like to mention is the basics, the basic math, which is the foundation of all the AI that is being built. I think that's the most important thing. If you're a college student, you need to focus on that. Then, if you have a good foundation, then you can adapt to any change, and you'll be more confident in working with any new technology. right? So math is the basic thing. Linear algebra, matrices. I mean, these are the courses I think the college students will be pursuing in their second
Yeah.
year or first year, irrespective of their like domain of engineering, right?
Yeah.
So please like have a great shot at that and understand completely. Then once you get more interested, you understand how, if you want to build a career in AI, understand the AI product life cycle, and see like which part of the life cycle you want to contribute in, be it data collection, data cleaning, or the model training, or the validation or quality assurance, or maybe the marketing side. I don't know, whatever your nature suits you, you can then pivot to these stages. So I think that is something which is one. The second thing is you need to double down on your human skills, like communication, dealing with people. I think that is going to be very important for everyone who wants to make a good career in general, but it becomes even more important with AI, because like right now what AI cannot mimic as of now, that again as of now, there's the human interaction, like,
Right.
yeah. So that I think you need people to work with you. So
Excellent.
yeah, that those human skills, I think those are going to be really important.
No, that's great because I think, as you said, the basics of math, definitely your inclination towards the AI product lifecycle, whether it's data cleaning, validation, modeling, and then more importantly, as you said, the human skills, the cognition of what we bring that machines cannot for quite some time at least, is the communication, the collaboration, and all. So no, that's exactly to the point because people know that as you design courses, as you design even internal enterprise training, that these components have to be looked at so that you can have a decent career and actually produce the kind of outcomes that the enterprises are looking for. So I'll switch that question to you as well, Vivek. But talk to us a little bit about what skills did you acquire on this journey to get to where you are today?
Yeah. So I think when I started, I was a hardcore C++ developer in my college time. So one thing I learned is it won't be enough if you want to move into this field. You need to learn Python. So that's where when I was doing that project, the optimization project, I still remember at that time I learned Python and all this libraries you hear about, pandas, NumPy, everything, because I need to do those analysis and show it to the professor on how things works. So I think Python is the most basic thing you should understand along with those libraries. But I would say one point that Ashish mentioned is the important skill would be the mathematics behind it, the linear algebra, the probability that goes around. So these are the two basic fundamental things. If you understand these things, then I think it will be very easy for you going forward. The data doesn't matter whether you are in a data science or building some ML algorithms, or it doesn't matter in coming days. Let's say if some new technology comes that is related to AI, then the basic would be the mathematics, the probability, and the linear algebra matrices around it. So I think having a like Python as a basic language, playing around it along with those basic fundamental in NumPy, Pandas, and all those libraries, uh, along with mathematics will be very important. So I think these are the two important skills.
To always abstract and make it simple, three circles, right? So one is definitely math. It sounds like both of you guys agree. Statistics, math, the patterns out of the math. The one is definitely some technology background, whatever you're doing in software engineering, data quality, cleaning ML models, whatever. And then I'll get to the third one, which is the business domain, which you both of you guys have alluded to. I'll give you an example in my career just to kind of throw some snippets, right? I started my career, I did my engineering from Delhi College of Engineering as well, and then I did my MBA in the US. But I think when I started doing a lot of data and AI, helping people with the strategy part, eventually getting into these areas when I was working with marketing to do some A/B testing, etc., or working with the CFOs to understand what forecasting would mean, etc., I had to just learn some of these techniques and statistical methods as well. I'm a Six Sigma black belt as well, so I kind of knew math a little bit. Okay, certified analytics professional. It's called CAP. I did a lot of regression analysis, all the stuff that you were talking about, in terms of even cluster networks, understanding the distance between those equations, Bayes theorems, and like the real geek stuff of math. So in that thread, I'll go back to you, Ashish. I think since you mentioned moving from technology a little bit into business banking, is there any example that you can share with us? You've leveraged some of that and your expertise so that the young audience at least gets a glimpse as to what they will be, doing if they get into this area.
Right, right. So if you're in a business environment, one thing I think that goes without saying is you still need to be very curious about what tools you can use to make sense of those numbers, right? So I think being updated on what new tools are available, like no code or low code tools are available for like data analysis or making presentations or any other part of the business process. I think that's going to be key. That will really help you to improve the productivity. As per the specific use cases, like generally, typically the companies, I mean, especially with the regulated companies, they prefer using more explainable models like statistical models for let's say key decision making, like pricing, fraud detection, right? But what they are using increasingly is now they are, it's, I think it can be a kind of a transition then, that you, as you gain more confidence over AI, you again implement that in various aspects of the business. So one could be customer service, for example. That's the low hanging fruit. Companies can use, they can exploit to reach to a wider audience in various languages. I think that's one more thing that is going in India as well, like in various languages, to improve the accessibility for the customers, and that really improves the business growth. That is one thing. Other thing is, yeah, as you slowly become more confident in the AI agents, you can probably include them in the decision making process as well, because an AI agent is something I like to think it as a decision maker, like a human. It looks at some data and makes some decision whether to use this tool or whether to send an email or something like that. So I think these agents are increasingly being used in uh, pricing, in fraud detection, because to detect some anomaly and get some idea about that this particular let's say this particular transaction is, let's say, fraud.
Those are some good examples, as you said, right? Customer service being across every industry, right? Whether it's internal call center or external call center. I was actually working recently with a retail bank, right? And their call center, for example, the customer service guys, they would sometimes get calls about which credit card to buy, and they were offering like maybe 10, 12 credit cards, and they would quickly look at who the person was to say, can you funnel down to maybe 4 or 5. Now with some AI technologies, if they know which customer is calling them, they know the background in terms of what kind of how much salary, which kind of income bracket they're in, how much mortgage do they have, and just very quickly decide that these two at the most are the best options of credit cards. That makes the customer service reps task so much easier, because you're kind of focused and trying to engage the customer right there, right? So those kind of technologies absolutely help a lot. But I think to your point, awareness of the tools and a lot of low code, no code things are happening, right? I was reading something where Google just came out last week saying, you know what, the back of the napkin is where your code will be, because if you just design it, a lot of these things are going to write the code. But again, human in the loop is still key, because you're still using a lot of judgment to make sure that this solution is what is needed. Example here that you can share. Do you see that there's too much hype in these technology terms? Is there things that people are misunderstanding? Sometimes people think that AI/ML is like a solution for everything, right? Any perspective that you have from your vantage point that you want to share with the audience here?
Yes, definitely. I think that's the most talked word, or the questions that is there, that it will do everything, the AI. So I don't think so. Uh, what happens is, for example, let's say like 10 years back when cloud came. Okay, to give you an example, everything was on on-premises. Then people started moving to a cloud. People thought that it will go away. It will take everything. The on-premises people who are managing all those infrastructure, they'll take their jobs and they don't have any other opportunity. Okay, it will do everything. The cloud will do everything. So now what happened is whatever they have implemented that infrastructure, since they had knowledge, they can apply it in the same thing into the cloud and they can upskill themselves. Okay, so same things I think applies for this AI as well. It won't do or take your job. What it will do is it will enhance your productivity, as everyone says. Whatever job that or the tools and technologies, for example, we use in our day-to-day life, GitHub Copilot and all this, it makes our job easier. Now we are more in a thinking part rather than in a doing part.
Exactly.
Previously, we used to think, then write a code. It takes one day to write a code, 1 day to think. Now it's like when we are thinking, it just takes 1 day and like half an hour more to write that code. We just need to fix here and there, and that's how it is increasing the productivity. It is not like it will solve everything.
Yeah.
There's still a human intervention that is required. Human intelligence is required. Someone has to think, someone has to tell that AI that you need to do these things, because AI will hallucinate. It will definitely hallucinate and it will give you a wrong answer. You need to know that what is that answer you want from AI, what you
Exactly.
want to implement. So that
Exactly.
clarity of thought and thinking needs should it comes from human. It doesn't come from machine as of now. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how it will increase your productivity. It won't take your like the job and everything. The people that are scared of.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's great.
Mm.
That's great. I'm so glad talking to the actually the future leaders in this area, right? You guys are young, you guys have learned something, you will go on your journey, kind of produce more. But exactly as you said, that this is right now is not the panacea for everything. And you alluded to it, right, Ashish, in the beginning, that it's trying to mimic human intelligence. They call it AGI or whatever. But end of the day, there's still a need for human judgment and the cognition that's needed. And you talked of hallucination, right? Where some of these technologies will give you a wrong answer with all the confidence that it's there. I actually always think about it because I get a lot of questions asked about from clients about hallucination. I'm like, even human beings hallucinate, but it's the judgment that comes from saying, okay, you know what, I've done this so many times that I think this answer's probability is maybe 80% or 90%, not 40%. So that comes with our experience with data. So to your points, right, the fluency is what it matters, right? It's, as you said, it's not that AI will take away your jobs. AI will make you more productive. The
Yes.
only people who will lose jobs are the ones who are not using AI to kind of
Correct.
upskill themselves, right? Because I'll tell you an example. So I have grown kids, right? And I'm originally from India. So when I used to go to an exam hall, we were not allowed to use calculators
Yes.
and then when my kids were growing up in high school, they would take scientific calculators into the exam hall. And I was like, that's wrong. They're like, yeah, all the formulas were all there. So it was the usage of that was important, not remembering the multiplication tables, right? Likewise, technology will always be there. What you're going to use it for has to evolve and be better, not about just sticking with, hey, it's going to take away the job. So great examples that you brought, both of you guys. If I were to really summarize what you guys said, was definitely math, some AI piece. If you can get something on the business domain side, that helps a lot. But also, as you alluded to it, the human skills, right? The critical thinking, the collaboration and communication. Because I think the future really depends on asking the right questions, right? Going a little more deeper into the problem decomposition, like you said also, Vivek, that you got to think more sometimes and maybe do little. When you're doing coding and you've got all this stuff in GitHub and Copilot, it can tell you what you need to do, but you have to step back and see what the problem statement is, where performance, where security, all those things are going to be more important as we go forward. And that's what might produce a better professional leveraging these technologies. So lastly, before we go, since you guys took the time, I would love for the audience to maybe connect with you guys.
So yeah, LinkedIn definitely. Like that's the best place. Apart
Okay.
from it, a lot of, if you want to know about AI in general, I mean, Twitter or X has been a really good place if you follow right
Wow.
people there. It's a eye opener. So you'll be able to, it will help you stay updated with all the new technologies. And I think it's necessary to be in a habit of staying updated with what's happening, because it's happening so fast. You need to be on the uh like ahead of the curve or
Yeah.
on the curve. You don't want to be left behind the curve. So
I'll
that's
share
the
your
thing.
LinkedIn handle, and this is good thing that, Twitter or X, it's overwhelming. The sources of information that are on, even on this topic, it's kind of like the gold rush, right? If there's
Yes.
gold, everyone wants to be on it, wants to extract gold. Vivek, going to you, what can we share in terms of your contact information so the audience can connect with you as well?
Yeah, I think the LinkedIn handle would be good. If someone wants to learn about this AI thing, we always try to communicate with each other that something has come up with the like-minded people. You can connect. Whoever is there on LinkedIn, you can talk about that. Read those posts. Articles are the one, mostly the Medium articles that is there that you can look at. And just if you write or like personalize your feed, the Google feed, just put like a AI news, so you will always get that AI news every day.
Excellent, excellent. I'll definitely share these things in terms of the Twitter, the Google feed for AI, and I do read some Medium articles too. But I'll definitely share with the audience both your LinkedIn handles as well. So again, Ashish and Vivek, I really thank you for your time. This was great. I'm sure I'll get a lot of questions, and I'm hopefully that people will connect with you as well, because this is just an exciting field. And as I said, if you keep your curiosity on and learn from each other, I think that's where the future is. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.